Thank you, Dom and Kelly and Natalia. It's a great way to just transition into my experience because I think a bit of everything that you all said has a connection with how I was able to get into this rich experience of global learning. I'm going to start out by saying I'm not a faculty member. I am not an instructor. I am purely a research administrator in the sense that as the Assistant Vice Chancellor of Research Development on our campus, I do quite a bit of faculty development and faculty research development. And so a lot of my work helps faculty to advance their teaching, but more importantly, their research efforts. I was maybe about 14 years into my career here when I had a conversation with my third vice chancellor about professional development for myself. And I have always been interested in a Fulbright, but always counted myself out because, again, I'm not a faculty member and I don't teach. What do I have to offer? And it wasn't until I had that conversation with my vice chancellor when he encouraged me to think about it because he knew that there were many different ways that you could be engaged with the Fulbright program. And so I did take a look at some of the programming. And at the time, Leslie Bozeman, our great leader here, had just was early in her career here at IEPUI. And I thought maybe I'll just have a conversation with Leslie. Leslie, I think, was probably the most catalyzing person in this whole process because her energy just went through the roof when she's like, "You've never had an international experience? We are going to get you an international experience." I said, "Okay." And she just explained to me the different Fulbright programs. I also went to had a Fulbright experience that was not an extended one. Mine was the IEA, the International Education Administrators experience, and that one is about 2 weeks. And so I was talking to Leslie about, well, what program? You know, she's like, she was looking at Asian countries, and I saw France and Germany as probably the one that I wanted to do. I felt like it would be much more accessible because I just assumed that there would be more English speakers. We didn't have to know the language. And so I decided to write my Fulbright for the France and Germany program. So I did my Fulbright in France and Germany. I went, started out in Montpellier for about 4 days. I did 7 days in Paris, and then the rest of that time was in Brussels, where we met up with the Germany cohort, which was a cool experience for about 3 days. And so I wrote my program, my application, with a focus on the fact that our office has an international development fund for researchers, and our office partnered with the international office. And so I wanted to use that as a platform of how do we strengthen our research relationships with international institutions. And then I was also getting very deep in the work of development of women and underrepresented faculty members and how to support their advancement and growth through the higher ed system. I wanted to have a global understanding of that. And so that's what I wrote my application on, and I got accepted. It was a thrill. It was also a thrill to know that I was considered a Fulbright scholar. Once you get that opportunity, you're part of this community of knowledge-based and I would guess shepherds of this idea that we are ambassadors. We are ambassadors across our disciplines, and the more we are able to connect with folks from other experiences in other countries, the greater our experiences within our efforts and our work. I would leave you with several things, and I think the folks have already said it, that if you do, first of all, don't count yourself out. The Fulbright is a wide array of programs, and there are very different ways of engaging across the Fulbright programs. And so don't count yourself out, just start to do your research and see what best fits you. And make sure you have the support within your unit or your organization around it. So start talking to your leaders about why this would be a great experience for you. And then the second one would be, once you get the Fulbright, make connections, even if you're not used to, just being social. Always make some time to get to know someone from that country and leave your card and start to continue to develop that relationship. This is an opportunity that you don't want to pass up. And then the last one is, once you get a Fulbright and you understand how rich an experience it is, pay it forward. Become a volunteer, get involved, do what we all did by, coming onto the board. My questions that I asked on my Fulbright had to do with, how do you in your country promote inclusive excellence? It didn't get answered fully. And one of the commission officers from the DC office was there, and she said, let's talk. And from that conversation, I was invited, after my Fulbright, I was invited a couple months later to go to DC to talk about issues of retention of folks going to other countries, especially folks of color who don't persist sometimes because of the mismatch of cultural experiences. And so the more you can connect with the organization in a voluntary way, I think you also gain rich connections and experiences from that. And I'll just leave it at that.